What I need from a classroom space at PLU, more than anything, I want to be heard and listened to. I want to be able to say something and not be pushed off to the sides.
I don't like being dismissed. I don't like when people get dismissed just because the majority of the class doesn't want to talk about something.
I feel like that fear sometimes of not being heard counteracts like your actual ability to speak up. And a lot of times it's seen as, oh, well, you just don't know, or maybe like you're just not trying, but it's actually that kind of like a little bit of a fear of, well, it's not really going to matter anyways.
I think I need people to allow other people to respectfully challenge them and to like have people build up spaces where it's okay to respectfully challenge.
I was like the only black guy in the classroom. So it was really interesting to see that like when I was talking, the whole classroom, the eyes were on me. I really felt like they were listening.
If I spoke, it was 3 minutes later, this other boy, this other girl, who were white, would say the same thing that I said, and then get the credit for that.
If you're in a classroom and there's only you and another person of color, and the teacher kind of always hands you back that other person's paper instead of your own, even if it's not intentionally, it's kind of like you didn't take the time to kind of look at the name and you just took the time to think of the skin color.
I was less willing to talk about my experiences because I felt kind of like if I was going to, I would kind of say like, oh, a case study. This is what it's like to grow up poor, as opposed to when we're talking about money, or this is what it's like to not have a good life at home with your family when we're talking about family, as opposed to it being everyone talking and dialoguing.
I personally felt the need to raise my hand every time I needed to speak, so that no one else would be talking when I spoke. The people who were not of color often spoke out of turn, or they would like half raise their hand and then speak, interrupting people or whatever. And that's not to say that they're rude people or they're inconsiderate, but I think they've grown up with the idea that everyone who speaks will be heard, but that everyone does not include everyone.
You can't just walk into a situation in a classroom setting, because a classroom is an ongoing relationship. I have a canned speech basically, where I lay out the fact that we're going to be going through difficult material, we're going to be going through controversial material, and so in the class, in order to create an environment where everybody feels comfortable, we're going to assume that everybody has the best intentions. And then the next thing that I try and do in the classroom is I say, if you're assuming everybody has positive intentions, then assume that if they make a mistake, it's a genuine mistake and it's an opportunity to learn.
In terms of in class, I'm not sure that I really have a good answer for that. I try many different things. I would try to work through with the individual or the group what's the barrier.
I don't believe it's just a faculty member's responsibility to call out microaggressions or oppressive language. I think it's on everyone.
I balance the hierarchy of those types of relationships where there is an authority figure, is one, to realize that I'm the authority figure in a specific domain, but that doesn't mean I can't learn from somebody else.
The responsibility is on the whole class, to tell the truth. The responsibility is on the individual, like myself. The responsibility is on the other students, and the responsibility is on the professor. The professor responsibility would be facilitating, whichever, guiding the conversation or listening, finding some points, because sometimes people get emotional.
If it doesn't necessarily pertain to you, but it's still very offensive and you know it's offensive to somebody in the room, I feel like it's your responsibility to say something about it.